had killed 2,847 people across 600 years. She remembered every single face, not because she felt guilt, but because her mind was perfect. They did not forget. They did not age. They did not feel. She was the universe's greatest assassin. Governments hired her. Empires feared her. When her name was spoken, it was spoken in whispers. The Phantom, they called her, the Violet Death. She had ended wars with a single kill. She had toppled dynasties. She had never failed a contract. Tonight she had a new target. Stood in the shadow of a docking bay on Station Myra 7, reading the file on her. The target was a human male named, age 34, occupation, cargo hauler. His ship was a small freighter called the Sunflower. According to the file, he had stolen classified data from the Galactic Confederacy. The admiral who hired her wanted him dead before he could sell the information. It seemed like a simple job, too simple for someone of her reputation, but the pay was excellent and did not ask questions. Questions were not her business. Death was her business. She moved through the station like smoke. No one saw her. No one heard her. Within 20 minutes, she had found the Sunflower in Docking Bay 12. It was a sad little ship, old and patched in many places. The yellow paint on its hull was fading. This was not the ship of a dangerous criminal. This was the ship of a poor man. Did not care. Poor men could be criminals too. She disabled the security system in 3 seconds and slipped inside. The interior of the ship was small and messy. There were toys on the floor. Children's drawings hung on the walls with tape. Paused. The file had not mentioned a child. She heard voices from the kitchen area. A man's voice, tired and gentle, and a child's voice, high and happy. Moved closer, silent as death itself. She stood in the doorway and looked at her target for the first time. Was not what she expected. He was a thin man with dark circles under his eyes. He wore a faded sweater with a hole in one sleeve. He stood at the small kitchen counter, heating a cup of instant noodles. Sitting at the table was a little girl, maybe 6 years old, with messy hair and 2 ponytails. She was drawing something with old crayons. "Look," the girl said, holding up her paper. "I drew a space whale." Turned and smiled at his daughter. It was a tired smile, but it was real. "That's beautiful, Bora. Is that the one we saw near the nebula?" "Yes, the big blue one. I named him Pudding." Pudding is a good name for a space whale. Watched this scene with cold silver eyes. She had seen many things in 600 years. She had seen kings beg for their lives. She had seen warriors scream in terror. She had never seen a man heat noodles for his daughter while wearing a sweater with holes. She stepped into the light. Saw her immediately. His body went stiff. His eyes moved to his daughter, then back to, he knew what she was. Everyone knew what an assassin looked like. The pale violet skin, the silver eyes, the way they moved like shadows. Waited for the screaming. She waited for him to run, to fight, to beg. That was what they always did. But did something she did not expect. He sighed. It was a deep, tired sigh, like a man who had already lost everything and had nothing left to fear. He looked at her with exhausted eyes and said, "If you're here to kill me, can you wait until after I put her to bed?" Did not move. In 600 years, no one had ever said that to her. "Please," continued. His voice was calm. "She's only 6. She doesn't need to see this. Just give me 20 minutes. Then you can do what you came to do." Bora looked up from her drawing. She saw, and her eyes went wide with wonder, not fear. "Look, a purple lady. She's so pretty." "Yes, she is," said softly. "Bora, it's bedtime. Say good night to our guest." "But I want to show her my space whale." "Tomorrow, little one, tomorrow." Bora pouted but climbed down from her chair. She walked right up to, completely unafraid, and held up her drawing. "This is Pudding. He's a space whale. Do you like space whales?" Looked down at the small human child. Bora's eyes were bright and innocent. She smelled like crayons and soap. She had no idea she was standing in front of the most dangerous killer in the known universe. "I have never seen a space whale," said. Her voice was flat, cold. "That's so sad," Bora gasped. "We have to show her the space whales." "Maybe someday," said. He picked up his daughter gently. "Now say good night." "Good night, pretty purple lady," Bora waved at with her small hand. Then carried her away to a small bedroom in the back of the ship, heard him singing softly. A lullaby. It was a simple song about stars and dreams. Stood alone in the kitchen. The noodles were getting cold on the counter. The space whale drawing lay on the table. She looked at it for a long time. She should kill him the moment he returned. That was the job. That was what she always did. But for the first time in 600 years, hesitated. She did not understand why. She did not understand anything about this tired man and his fearless little girl. She only knew that something was different. Something had changed in the moment Bora smiled at her without fear. When Returned was still standing there, he looked at her and waited for death. But death did not come. "Why are you not afraid?" asked. Smiled sadly. "I lost my wife 2 years ago. I've been running and hiding ever since. I'm tired of being afraid. If tonight is the end, then it's the end. I just didn't want Bora to see it." Stared at him. She did not understand this human. She did not understand his peace. She did not understand any of this. "I will return tomorrow," she said. "We will talk." Then she vanished into the shadows, leaving alone with his cold noodles and his sleeping daughter. Outside in the cold darkness of the station, the universe's greatest killer stood very still. Her hands were shaking. She did not know why. She had never hesitated before. She was beginning to think she never would again after tonight. Something had broken inside her, or perhaps something had finally woken up. Returned to the sunflower the next morning. She told herself it was to gather information. She told herself she was being professional. A good assassin always learned about their target before the kill. But deep inside, in a place she had forgotten existed, she knew she was lying to herself. Opened the door when she knocked. He did not look surprised to see her. He looked tired, like he had not slept well, but he stepped aside and let her in. "Coffee?" he asked, "or do drink tea? I have both." "I do not need food or drink like humans do," said. "That wasn't my question. I asked what you want, not what you need." Paused. No one had ever asked her what she wanted. "Tea," she said finally. "I will try tea." She sat at the small kitchen table while made tea. The ship was quiet. Morning light came through the windows, soft and golden. Everything smelled like breakfast and clean laundry. "Where is the child?" asked. "Bora is still sleeping. She stayed up too late drawing more pictures for you," smiled a little. "She likes you. She asked if you're a princess from another planet." "I am an assassin." "I know, but she's 6. To her, you're a pretty purple princess." He set a cup of tea in front of. "I didn't poison it, if you're wondering." "Poison would not harm me. They are immune to most toxins." "Good to know." Sat across from her with his own cup. "So, are you going to kill me today?" Looked at him. He asked the question like he was asking about the weather. There was no fear in his voice. No anger. Just tired acceptance. "I have not decided," she said. "Fair enough. Mind if I ask why?" Did not answer. She did not have an answer. Instead, she said, "Tell me about the data you stole." Laughed. It was not a happy laugh. "I didn't steal anything. That's a lie. The admiral who hired you, Admiral, he's the criminal, not me." "Explain." So explained. 2 years ago, he was hauling cargo near the border colonies. A distress signal came from a small moon called 3. When he arrived, he found a massacre. Admiral had ordered his soldiers to kill everyone in a refugee camp. 3,000 people. Men, women, children, all dead. But some had survived. 47 refugees were hiding in the ruins, took them aboard his ship. He saved them. Admiral found out he could not let witnesses live, so he attacked the sunflower. wife died protecting the refugees. She gave her life so they could escape. The stolen data is just security footage from that day, said. His voice was heavy with old pain. It shows what did. He's been hunting me ever since, trying to bury the truth. Listened without speaking. When he finished, she asked, "Why have you not shared this footage with the authorities?" "Who would I share it with? Is an admiral. He has powerful friends. Anyone I contact ends up dead or disappeared. I've been running for 2 years trying to keep Bora safe. That's all I can do." "You could have given up the footage, made a deal." "Then those 3,000 deaths would mean nothing. My wife's death would mean nothing," shook his head. "I won't let him win, even if it kills me." Felt something strange in her chest. It was not pain, it was not hunger. She did not know what it was. She had not felt anything in centuries. "You are a fool," she said quietly. "Probably," agreed, "but I'm a fool who can sleep at night." Before could respond, a small voice came from the hallway. "Is the purple princess here?" Bora appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. She wore pajamas covered in cartoon space whales. When she saw, her whole face lit up. "You came back." She ran over and climbed onto the chair next to. "Look, I made more drawings for you." She held up a pile of papers. They were all drawings of the same thing, a tall purple figure, a man, and a small girl. In every picture they were holding hands. "That's you, and that's me," Bora explained happily. "We're a team. I call us the Space Whale Crew." Stared at the drawings. In 600 years, no one had ever drawn a picture of her. No one had ever included her in anything. "Why did you draw me?" she asked. "Because you're my friend," Bora said simply. "We met yesterday for 5 minutes." "That's enough. Friends are friends." Did not know what to say. She looked at, but he was just watching his daughter with soft eyes. He did not tell Bora that was dangerous. He did not tell her to stay away. "Can I show you my room?" Bora asked. "I have lots of space whale toys and my mom's music box. It plays pretty songs." Should have said no. She should have left. She should have completed her mission and vanished into the darkness where she belonged. Instead, she said, "Yes, you may show me." Bora grabbed her hand. Her small fingers were warm and soft. She pulled down the hallway to a tiny bedroom decorated with stars and planets. There was a small bed with a space whale blanket. There were shelves full of toys, and on the nightstand there was a silver music box. "This was my mom's," Bora said. She opened the box and a gentle melody played. "Says Mom is in the stars now. She watches over us." "Do you believe that?" asked. "Yes, every night I wave to her before I sleep. Says she waves back, but I can't see it because stars are very far away." Listen to the music. It was a simple melody, soft and sad and beautiful. She thought about her own past. She had no mother, no father. They had created her in a laboratory. She was made to be a weapon. She was never meant to be anything else. But sitting here, in this small room with this small girl, she wondered if that was true. "Bora," she said, "I must ask you something." "Okay. Why are you not afraid of me?" Bora tilted her head like a curious puppy. "Why would I be afraid? You have kind eyes." "I am a killer. I have ended many lives." "But you didn't hurt us. You came back to drink tea and look at my drawings. That's what friends do." Looked at this tiny human child. Bora saw something in her that no one else had ever seen, something that herself did not know existed. Maybe the child was wrong. Maybe there was no kindness in silver eyes. Or maybe, after 600 years of darkness, a single spark of light had survived. "I will not hurt your father," said. The words came out before she could stop them. "I give you my word." Bora smiled the smile had ever seen. "I knew it. I knew you were good." Then she hugged tightly. It was quick and warm and over in a second. But felt it for hours afterward. Something was changing inside her, something she could not name or understand. All she knew was that she could not complete this mission. For the first time in 600 years, the universe's greatest killer had found something she would not destroy. 3 days passed, did not leave the Sunflower. She did not contact Admiral, she did not complete her mission. Instead, she did strange things. She ate breakfast with Bora. She learned how to make rice, though she burned it twice. She listened to Bora talk about space whales for 3 hours without getting bored. She watched old movies on the ship's small screen while Bora fell asleep against her arm. She was not being an assassin. She was being something else. She did not have a word for it. On the 4th day, the Sunflower landed on a frozen moon called 4 to refuel. The refueling station was small and old. Snow covered everything. The air was so cold that humans had to wear thick coats. Took Bora to the station's small shop to buy supplies. Stayed on the ship. She stood by the window, watching the snow fall, thinking about things she had never thought about before. That was when her communicator beeped. She looked at the message. It was from one of her contacts in the assassin network. The message was simple. Admiral has sent a kill team, 12 soldiers, 2 assassins. They will arrive at 4 in 1 hour. Target, the Sunflower and everyone aboard. His blood went cold, not because she was afraid for herself. She had never been afraid in her life. She went cold because she thought of Bora. Little Bora with her drawings and her space whale pajamas and her bright, innocent smile. They were coming to kill Bora. Moved fast. She grabbed her weapons from her hidden bag, twin blades made of black metal, a small energy pistol, a garrote wire thin enough to be invisible. She had not used these weapons in days. Now she would use them all. She ran through the snow to the station's shop. Was inside, holding Bora's hand while she pointed at a toy in the window. "You must hide," said. Her voice was sharp. "Now." Saw her face and understood immediately. He picked up Bora and followed without asking questions. They moved to a storage room at the back of the station. It was small and dark and full of boxes. "What's happening?" asked. "Sent people to kill us, soldiers and assassins. They will be here soon." "Us," notice the word. "You said us." "I will stop them. Stay here. Keep Bora quiet." Grabbed her arm. "You should go. This isn't your fight. You didn't sign up to protect us. Just leave. We'll figure something out." Looked at him. This tired, gentle man was telling her to save herself. He was facing death, and his first thought was to protect her. "You are a strange human," she said. "So I've been told." "I am not leaving," pulled her arm free. "I am going to kill everyone who comes for you. Then we will talk about what happens next." She turned to Bora, who was watching with wide, confused eyes. "Bora, I need you to be very brave and very quiet. Can you do that for me?" Bora nodded seriously, like hide and seek. "Yes, exactly like hide and seek. The best hide and seek you have ever played." "Okay, I'm good at hide and seek." Allowed herself one small smile. Then she left the storage room and walked into the snow. The kill team arrived 30 minutes later. They came in a black military ship, sleek and deadly. 12 soldiers in combat armor stepped out first. They moved in formation, professional and careful. Behind them came 2 assassins. Recognized them. And Noelle. They were good, not as good as her, but good. Saw standing alone in the snow. He smiled a cruel smile. "The Phantom herself. We heard you went soft. Looks like the rumors were true." "You have one chance to leave," said. Her voice was calm, flat. "Take it." Noelle laughed. "There's 14 of us and 1 of you. Those are bad odds even for the great." "You are right, the odds are bad." Drew her twin blades. "Bad for you." She moved. The humans had a saying, "Death comes like a whisper." They were wrong. Death came like fast, silent, absolute. She killed the first 4 soldiers before they could raise their weapons. Her blades moved in perfect arcs, cutting through armor like paper. Blood sprayed across the white snow. The soldiers tried to shoot her, but she was never where they aimed. She was smoke. She was shadow. She was everywhere and nowhere. came at her with his own blades. He was fast, she was faster. They exchanged 12 blows in 3 seconds. On the 13th, her blade went through his throat. He fell without a sound. Noelle tried to run. She caught him in 4 steps. He begged for his life. She did not listen. He would have killed Bora. He would have killed. There was no mercy for someone like that. The remaining soldiers scattered in panic. They had heard stories about the Phantom. Now they understood that the stories were not exaggerations. They were understatements. Hunted them through the snow. One by one she found them. One by one she ended them. It took 4 minutes. When she was done, the white snow had turned red. She stood among the bodies, breathing hard, not from exhaustion. They did not get tired. She was breathing hard because of something else, something burning in her chest. It was fury, pure, hot fury, not cold professional anger but real rage. She had felt nothing for 600 years and now she felt everything. They had tried to kill her family. The thought surprised her. She had never had a family. She did not know what family meant. But somehow, in 4 days, a tired cargo hauler and his small daughter had become her family. She walked back to the storage room. She opened the door, and Bora were huddled together in the darkness. When they saw her, Bora jumped up and ran to her. "You came back," Bora hugged her legs. Then she looked up and saw the blood. "You're hurt." "The blood is not mine," said. Stood slowly. He looked at its face, at the blood on her clothes, at the expression in her silver eyes. He understood what had happened without asking. "Are they gone?" he asked quietly. "Yes, all of them." "And you're okay?" Did not answer. She was not okay. She was shaking, not from fear or cold, but from the weight of what she had just realized. She cared. After 600 years of emptiness, she cared about these 2 humans more than she had ever cared about anything. She would burn the entire galaxy to keep them safe. It terrified her, and it made her feel alive for the first time in centuries. Walked over to her. Without a word, he took her blood-stained hands in his. He led her to a small sink and turned on warm water. Gently, carefully, he washed the blood away. "Thank you," he said softly. "I killed 14 people. You protected us. You protected my daughter." He looked into her silver eyes. "That's what matters." Watched the red water swirl down the drain. She had washed blood from her hands thousands of times. It had never meant anything before. Now it meant everything. "I do not know how to do this," she whispered. "Do what?" "Care, feel, be something other than a weapon." Finished cleaning her hands, he held them for a moment longer than necessary. "You don't have to know how, you just have to try. That's all any of us can do." Bora tugged at sleeve. "Are you staying with us now, forever?" Looked down at the little girl with space whale pajamas, and absolute faith in her eyes. "Yes," she said, "I am staying." The word felt strange on her tongue, strange and wonderful and right. She was no longer the universe's greatest killer. She was something new, something she did not have a name for yet. But she would find one. She had time, she had a family. She had a home. 3 months passed like a dream. Learned many things during those months. She learned that humans needed 8 hours of sleep every night, which seemed terribly wasteful but also strangely peaceful. She learned that breakfast was the most important meal of the day, according to Bora, and that it must always include something sweet. She learned that sang in the shower badly, and that it made her smile every single time. She learned what it meant to be part of a family. Every morning, she woke up in her small room on the Sunflower. It was barely bigger than a closet, but Bora had decorated it with drawings and paper stars. Every morning, she walked to the kitchen and found making coffee and Bora chattering about her dreams. "I dreamed about Pudding again," Bora said one morning. Pudding was still her favorite space whale. "He was purple this time, like you." "Space whales are not purple," said. "Dream space whales can be any color they want." Could not argue with that logic. Life on the Sunflower was quiet and simple. They hauled cargo between small colonies, avoiding major trade routes where Confederacy ships might find them. They ate together. They watched movies together. They laughed together. Had never laughed before. The first time it happened, she was so surprised that she stopped mid-laugh and stared at Bora with wide eyes. "What's wrong?" asked. "I made a sound, a strange sound." "You laughed, that's called laughing." "I have never done it before." Bora giggled. "You're funny, everyone laughs." "The do not laugh, we do not feel joy." "Well, you're not just anymore." Bora patted her hand. "You're part of our family, family laughs." After that, laughed more often. It felt strange at first, like wearing clothes that did not fit, but slowly she grew into it. Taught her to cook. She was terrible at it. She burned rice. She oversalted soup. She once set a pan on fire trying to make eggs, but never got angry. He just smiled and helped her try again. "Cooking is not about being perfect," he said one evening as they cleaned up another failed meal. "It's about making something with love. Even if it tastes bad, it tastes good if you made it for someone you care about." That does not make logical sense. Love rarely does. Thought about that for a long time. One night she found herself on the observation deck, staring at the stars. The Sunflower was drifting through empty space, far from any planet or station. It was quiet, peaceful, beautiful. Found her there. He sat down beside her without speaking. They watched the stars together in comfortable silence. "Can I ask you something?" said finally. "Yes." "What were you like before all this, before you became an assassin?" Was quiet for a long time. She had never told anyone about her past. There had never been anyone to tell. "I was not anything," she said finally. "They made me in a laboratory. I was designed to be a weapon. I had no childhood, no parents, no name until they gave me one. I was trained to kill from the moment I could walk. I never knew anything else." "That sounds lonely." "I did not know it was lonely. I did not know anything different." Looked at her hands. "I have killed thousands of people. I felt nothing. Not guilt, not pleasure, nothing. I was empty inside. I thought that was normal. I thought that was what I was supposed to be." "And now?" Turned to look at him. His eyes were soft in the starlight, kind, patient. "Now I feel everything," she whispered. "It is overwhelming, terrifying. I do not know how to handle it. Sometimes I want to run away because feeling is so much harder than not feeling." "Why don't you?" "Because of Bora, because of you." She looked back at the stars. "Because for the first time in 600 years, I have something worth staying for." Was silent for a moment. Then he said, "My wife used to say that love is like space. It's infinite. The more you give, the more there is. You never run out." She sounds wise. She was the best person I ever knew." His voice grew heavy. "When she died, I thought I would never feel anything good again. But then Bora would smile at me and I would remember that love doesn't die. It just changes shape." Understood what he meant. She felt it herself. The love she had for Bora was different from anything she had ever experienced. It was fierce and protective and absolutely unconditional. "I never knew I could feel this way," she said. "I was made to be a weapon. Weapons do not love." "You're not a weapon." "Then what am I?" Smiled gently. "You're the woman who makes pancakes shaped like space whales for my daughter. You're the woman who reads bedtime stories in 17 different voices. You're the woman who stayed when you could have left." He put his hand over hers. "Your family." Stared at their hands. His skin was warm, human, alive. "I do not deserve this," she said. "I have done terrible things." "Everyone has done things they regret. What matters is what you do now. And right now you're here, you're trying, that's enough." "Is it?" "It's more than enough." He squeezed her hand. "You know, Bora asks about you every night before bed. She wants to make sure you'll still be here in the morning. She loves you, so do I." His heart stopped, or maybe it started, she was not sure. What did you say? I said we love you, both of us. You're part of this family now. Whatever happens, wherever we go, you belong with us. Did not know how to respond. She had never been loved before. She did not know what to do with the feeling blooming in her chest, warm and bright and overwhelming. So she did the only thing she could think of. She leaned against his shoulder and watched the stars. He put his arm around her, gentle and warm. They sat like that for a long time. The next morning made breakfast. She burned the eggs again. But when she put the plate in front of Bora, the little girl ate every bite and said it was delicious. Really? Asked doubtfully. Really, because you made it for me. Bora smiled her smile. Love makes everything taste good. Looked at, he was smiling too. She thought about the bounty on her head. The Galactic Confederacy wanted her dead. She was now the most wanted criminal in 12-star systems. Her perfect record was destroyed. Her reputation was gone. She did not care. She had burned eggs and bad coffee and a little girl who thought she was a princess. She had a tired man who looked at her like she was worth something. She had a family. For the first time in 600 years, the universe's greatest killer was happy. And she would do anything to protect that happiness. Anything at all. The message came on a quiet evening. Was helping Bora with her reading homework when her old communicator beeped. She had almost forgotten she still had it. She picked it up and read the message. Her blood turned to ice. We have the girl, come to Halon Prime, come alone or she dies. Admiral. Looked up. Bora was sitting right there, safe and sound, turning pages in her book, but was not in the room. The ship was too quiet. She ran through the sunflower, checking every room. Empty, all empty. Then she saw the broken window in the cargo bay, signs of a struggle, blood on the floor. They had taken them both, and Bora, while she was distracted, they had taken her family. Stood in the empty cargo bay and felt something she had never felt before. Not fear, not anger, something deeper, something that burned like a dying star. They had taken everything from her, everything. She walked to her room and opened the hidden panel in the wall. Inside was her old armor, black metal that moved like liquid shadow, her twin blades, every weapon she had ever used. She had put them away 3 months ago, thinking she would never need them again. She was wrong. Put on her armor, she strapped on her weapons, she looked at herself in the mirror. The phantom stared back at her, cold, deadly, ancient. But there was something different in her silver eyes now. There was fire. She took one last thing before she left, a small piece of paper from the wall, one of Bora's drawings, 3 figures holding hands, the space whale crew. Then she flew to Halon Prime. Admiral's fortress sat on a cliff overlooking a dark ocean. It was massive and heavily guarded. 500 soldiers, defense systems, energy shields. It was built to be impossible to break into. Did not care about impossible. She landed her small ship 2 miles away and walked through the darkness. The first guards never saw her coming. Neither did the second, or the third. She moved through the fortress like death itself, silent and unstoppable. Alarms started screaming when she was halfway through. It did not matter. Let them know she was coming. Let them be afraid. Soldiers came at her in waves. She cut through them without slowing down. Gunfire, explosions, screams. None of it touched her. She was fury given form. She was 600 years of emptiness transformed into something terrible and beautiful. She found them in the throne room. Admiral sat on a golden chair, fat and smug in his decorated uniform. Behind him stood 20 of his best soldiers, and kneeling on the floor, hands bound, were Bora. Bora saw her first. She cried. There were tears on her face, but she was alive. They were both alive. Smiled when walked through the door. The phantom herself. I was hoping you would come. Did not speak. She did not need to. Her eyes said everything. You know, continued, I was surprised when I heard you had gone soft. The great, living on a cargo ship with a nobody and his brat. How the mighty have fallen." "Let them go," said. Her voice was flat, dead. "Or what, you'll kill me," laughed. "Look around you, 20 soldiers, energy shields, you can't touch me." Looked at, he was beaten and bruised, but his eyes were clear. He shook his head slightly, telling her not to worry about him. She looked at Bora. The little girl was terrified, but she was trying to be brave, trying to be strong, like had taught her. Something shifted in his chest. The last chains holding her back snapped. "I am going to kill everyone in this room except those two," she said calmly. "Then I am going to release the evidence of your crimes to every news network in the galaxy. Then I am going to walk out of here with my family, and there is nothing you can do to stop me." Smile faltered. "You're bluffing." "Do not bluff." She moved. It was not like the fight on 4. That had been quick and efficient. This was something else entirely. This was rage. This was vengeance. This was the full power of the universe's greatest killer, unleashed without limits. The soldiers fired. She dodged between the bullets like they were standing still. Her blades sang through the air. Men fell. Men screamed. Men died. The energy shield around his throne flickered and failed. He scrambled backward, his face white with terror. "Wait," he screamed. "I'll give you anything, money, power, name your price." Walked toward him slowly. Behind her the throne room was silent. 20 soldiers lay dead. The floor was covered in blood. "My wife was named," said from the floor. His voice was quiet but steady. "She died protecting refugees from you. 3,000 people murdered. You never even learned their names." Looked at, then back at. "Please, I'll confess. I'll turn myself in. Just let me live." Thought about it. She thought about mercy. She thought about what would want her to do. Then she thought about Bora's tears, about the fear in her little voice when she called his name. "No," said. She gave the same mercy he had given those 3,000 refugees. None at all. Afterward she freed and Bora. She held Bora in her arms and let the little girl cry against her shoulder. She felt his hand on her back, steady and warm. "It's over," he said. "It's finally over." Transmitted the evidence to every news network in the galaxy. Within hours the truth spread everywhere. Admiral's crimes, the massacre at 3, everything. The Confederacy could not bury it this time. The public demanded justice. His allies abandoned him. His name became a curse. And the cargo hauler who had carried the truth for 2 years became a hero. They offered amnesty in exchange for her testimony against other corrupt officials. She agreed, not because she wanted forgiveness, but because it meant she could stay with her family without running anymore. A week later, a reporter found them on the Sunflower. She asked a question that had been burning across the galaxy. "You were the most feared killer in the universe. You had power, wealth, reputation. You gave it all up for a cargo hauler and his daughter. Why?" Looked at the reporter. Then she looked past her to where and Bora were waiting by the ship. Bora waved at her, holding up a new drawing. Smiled. "I was never afraid of dying," said. "I was afraid of never having a reason to live. They gave me one." 1 year later, was sitting at the kitchen table on the Sunflower. She was helping Bora with her homework. The assignment was to write about family. "What should I write?" Bora asked. "Write about us," said. "But what do I say?" Thought for a moment. Say that family is not about blood. Family is about choice. It is about finding people who make you want to be better than you are. It is about love that does not give up, even when things are hard. Bora wrote carefully in her messy handwriting. Then she looked up. "Yes. Will you stay with us forever?" Looked at this small human girl who had changed everything. This fearless child who had seen a monster and called her a princess. This tiny person who had broken through 600 years of ice with nothing but crayons and kindness. "Yes," said, "forever." From the kitchen's voice called out, Dinner's ready, I only burned it a little bit this time. Bora giggled and ran to the kitchen, followed. The table was set with mismatched plates. The food was slightly burned. The sunflower creaked softly as it drifted through space. It was not perfect. It was better than perfect. It was home. The Phantom, the universe's greatest killer, sat down with her family and ate burned dinner and laughed at bad jokes, and felt full in a way that had nothing to do with food. Outside the window, the stars stretched on forever, infinite and beautiful and full of possibilities. Somewhere out there, someone was probably telling stories about her. The assassin who fell in love, the killer who found a family, the weapon who became a person. Let them tell their stories. Had found something better than legends. She had found love. And she was never letting go.